Are you interested in the environment and you're worried about climate change? Well, you know what? Get started now. Go find a group of like-minded people and talk to your members of Congress and get educated about the issue and start figuring out through social media how you can form a broader organization to advance the cause. Here's the good news. If you take that approach, then even if you don't get to that office, you've done a world of good. And if you do get to that office, it will be earned, and you'll have a sense of what's important to you and what your moral compass is. And so you'll be that much better as a congressman or a mayor or a councilman or what have you. So this is actually, by the way, pretty good advice generally, not just for public service, because when I meet the if you look at the most successful business people, they are people who just love the thing they're doing. You know? Steve Jobs loved computers. He loved design. He loved the internet. So he's working on this stuff, and then it turns out you get so absorbed in it, you end up being pretty good at it. And so, you know, I always tell young people, you know, don't wait until you get there to do something. You can do something right now. All right, I got a young lady's turn. Yeah, go ahead, right here.
Hi.
Hold on, let's get a mic.
Okay, I'm Lucy. I'm a student at Hawken. And I am wondering that you've said that the Republicans, they've never really changed their opinion of what to do. It's always tax cuts, tax cuts.
Mm-hmm.
And why do you think that they're always proposing tax cuts and never changing what they think we should do?
Well, you know, no, it's a good question. Look, and I want to be fair to their philosophy. I think they have a particular philosophy, at least today. Now, keep in mind that every party changes over time. So, you know, the person who I consider the greatest president of all time, a guy named Abraham Lincoln, was also the first Republican president. There have been Democrats whose main goal was to block civil rights back in the 40s and 50s and 60s. So I want to be clear that our country works best when both parties are evolving and changing. And over certain periods of time, Democrats have been stupid, and the Republicans have had better ideas, and vice versa. Right now, at least, the core Republican philosophy and belief is that the less government interferes with the marketplace, the better off we all are. Some believe that because, just philosophically, they think government is a source of coercion and interference and telling you what to do. And they believe that everybody, as long as they're not hurting anybody, should be free to do exactly what they want. Some of it has to do with an economic theory that says capitalism and the free market is great, and so government, when it meddles and gets involved in regulations, et cetera, is hurting economic growth. Some believe that, look, if I'm out there and I'm making a whole lot of money, it's my money, and I shouldn't have to pay taxes to pay for somebody else's school or somebody else's road or what have you. So there are a bunch of reasons why I think they have the philosophy that they've got. I think the problem right now is that we live in such a complicated, big, global society that what might be a sensible theory on paper doesn't always make sense in real life. So you may generally think, as I do, that the market is the greatest source of productivity and job creation and wealth creation in history. But our history tells us that if there's a company that's out there making a lot of money but also pouring a bunch of pollution into the water, and it catches on fire, and suddenly people can't, fish there anymore, and people are getting sick, that it makes sense for us to have some regulations that say, you know what, you can make your products, you can, make a profit, that's great, but, you're kind of messing things up, and so we're going to say you can't just dump your pollution in the water. In theory, you might say we don't want government forcing itself in the interactions of people, but if our history shows that racial minorities or a gay person is discriminated, we make a value judgment that says, yeah, this is an exception. You can kind of do what you want, but when it comes to a hotel, you can't decide you're not going to serve somebody of a particular racial or ethnic group.